Hey everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another one of my Gay Gamer video podcasts. Regular viewers, all three of you, might have noticed that I did not post an episode last week. That is because last weekend I was in a mood. Last weekend my husband and I were informed by our landlord that they will not be renewing our lease after just 1 year in this great apartment. We're being told to leave. We can't renew our lease because we have to go because she wants to give the apartment to her son, who is graduating from college and getting married. So that's super irritating and also super expensive because we're going to have to move again, and moving is expensive. So I wasn't really in the mood to talk about video games last week, so I took the week off. However, I will say that I did play a lot of video games because reality was so shitty that I just wanted to lose myself in an alternate reality. Normally, when life gets stressful, I tend to lose myself in No Man's Sky because No Man's Sky is kind of low pressure and you can just kind of land on a pretty planet and walk around and enjoy the scenery, and it's all like, oh. And you can kind of forget your troubles for a bit. But for whatever reason, I haven't played No Man's Sky in ages, because I've been so into Red Dead Redemption 2. And in fact, I just lost myself in Red Dead Redemption 2. I just went in the Old West and said, that's it. I'm just going to lose myself in the Old West. And I did. It also helped, I think, that I was at like the midsection of the game where like everything was kind of open, and it was like the chapter 3 into chapter 4 section. I had just started chapter 4, which I wasn't initially crazy about because it introduces you to a new area, which is Saint Denis, which is a big city. And I hated it because I liked the openness of the Old West and the fields and the trees and everything. I didn't like it because it was swampy in the south, and then there was a big city with pollution and too many people, and then there's like streetcars that like run into your horse and it makes it hard to get around, and I was just like, this place sucks. But what Saint Denis did that was good was introduce a whole bunch of new stranger quests and side quests and all kinds of stuff to do. So I had a lot of fun doing all of that kind of thing, which helped to distract me from real life. So if I wanted to, I would do like a story mission or something, but if I wanted to just kind of chill out, I would just take my horse and I would ride off into the countryside and try to find a location where I could catch one of the legendary fishes. And I've found like over half the legendary fish now. It's like, I like it better than hunting because I'm not always a great shot. So the hunting means tracking, and then you have to kill it, and it's like difficult. So, but with the fishing, you just have to find the right spot, and then you just throw in the bait and then reel in the fish, and you're done. It might take a couple of tries, you catch the wrong fish, but then eventually it's like 2 or 3 tries, and then I get the legendary fish, and it's no problem. Sometimes it's a bit of a fight getting the fish back, but one time it took me like 10 seconds. It was like, zhoop, and then I got it, and I was like, well, that was easy. But sometimes they fight, and it takes like a good 5-10 minutes of like reeling, and carefully like letting it out, and reeling. But it's something I can do. So like that's one of the trophies I've determined that I'm going to finish the Legendary Fishes quest. But it's also relaxing, and you just sort of go and you find a nice quiet spot and you fish. Like one time I was fishing by a waterfall in the moonlight, and it was super pretty and moody, and I was like, oh. Of course, then sometimes you're just riding along and you're attacked by outlaws. That sucks, but you know, whatever. I've gotten to be a little bit better shot. It also surprised me. I realized that this whole time there were these chores that I could have been doing in camp, and I was like, whatever, who cares? But I was bored, and so I would just start doing chores around camp just to help, just to distract myself from real life. That was another low-pressure thing to do. And I would do these chores, and then I find out that doing the chores not only gets you a little bit of morality, goodwill points, but it also increases your Deadeye. And I'm like, what? So this whole time, I could have had like an amazing Deadeye score right now, but I didn't know that. So now I'm doing the chores whenever I can. I will say that Chapter 4 ended. I am now in Chapter 5. I understand there's 6 chapters and like 2 epilogues and something else. So I know I'm heading for the end game, but I can also tell that I'm heading for the end game because after that whole open section where I felt like I had freedom and lots of side quests and there was a lot to do, now those have all disappeared and I feel like I'm focused in on the story and the story is taking over. Chapter 5 began with a bit of a detour that I was not really crazy about, but it didn't last long, thankfully, so it wasn't too bad. But now that I'm back on the main path here, I find that the story has taken over and I'm being, forced down the story path and there isn't as much, side stuff to do. So hopefully, once we get through this section, we can settle again and then maybe it'll open again, or this is literally just going to be, driving me towards the end game. And I don't want it to end, because I'm really enjoying it. But all good things must come to an end. And if I can finish, this would be the second Rockstar game that I've ever actually finished the story of, so that would be a nice little... I'd feel very proud of that. But because I'm like, oh, well, I could always play Red Dead Online, and that's never-ending, ongoing fun in this world. Except, I don't want to play Red Dead Online because I hear about all the, racist monsters playing it and, hog-tying people and killing people randomly, and I'm like, that's not fun for me. Already in the main story game, I don't like when I'm riding along and then, the Lemoyne Raiders will, ambush me, and then I get in a big shootout, and then I sometimes will die. One time, there was, a dozen of them, and I'm like, what? And I tried to run away, but they tracked me down and killed me, and I was like, dang it. So, I don't want that to be my game experience all the time. At least that only happens, periodically in the game. It's very infrequent, so it's okay. But in Red Dead Online, I feel like that's going to be, all the time. So that won't be fun, I don't think. So, not doing that. The other thing that I like to do when I get stressed is play Animal Crossing. I always play Animal Crossing when I get home from work every day, and it kind of just de-stresses me, and I go, and I can just walk around, talk to my friends, and pull weeds and water flowers, and it's like, But regular viewers will also recall that I've been having some problems with my Animal Crossing 3DS, which is, over 5 years old now, I think the game is. So, it doesn't hold a charge anymore. It holds a charge for, 2 minutes, and so I have to play it at home, plugged into the wall, like an animal. But then, you might also recall, a few episodes ago, I mentioned that the thumbstick broke, and I was able to kind of still use it. I just would put the thumb pad on and just kind of use that to buffer so it wouldn't dig into, so the little plastic stick wouldn't dig into my thumb. I was still able to use it. I wouldn't have tried to play a real game with this, because there's no real finesse control to it. I wouldn't try to play an action game because I'd die instantly because I wouldn't be able to move exactly how I want. But for something like Animal Crossing, it's fine. You don't need to, move quickly and precisely. So I was still making it work. But then another little piece of the joystick broke off, and it got jammed down here, so now I can't actually press down. So I can't actually go down, which is kind of a problem. So I had no choice. I was unable to, free the piece and get it out. It was in there good. So I had no choice but to swap back. Thankfully, I still had it, and swap back to my old 3DS, my tiny one. Which, seriously, oh my god, I miss this big screen. And, I had this one, and was playing Animal Crossing on this one, because I had the early copy, because that was back when I was still writing for Gay Gamer, because GayGamer.net was still a thing, and Nintendo sent me my code to start playing Animal Crossing and do my diaries, and review the game before it came out. But when the actual Animal Crossing came out, it came out with the Animal Crossing 3DS XL, and I wanted to get an XL anyway, after having seen a friend of mine and going, oh my god, that screen is beautiful, I want one of those now. Because this thing's so tiny, comparison. And so I wanted my Animal Crossing 3DS. Unfortunately, it does not work anymore, and I don't see the point in getting it repaired. I just transferred everything back onto this little one, which, tiny little screen, but at least I can play it, and I can play it on the go now. I'm not tethered to my couch and my outlet in the wall. And I just restored everything back onto this, and this holds a charge, so I can play it on the go again. I just have to deal with the tiny screen is all, which isn't great, but hopefully I'm only waiting another maybe 5 or 6 months before I can play Animal Crossing on my Switch. Come on, Nintendo, give us a direct. Tell me when I'm going to be able to move to a new town. You're killing me. So, that's it for this week. This was kind of a long one, I apologize, but that's what happens when you take time off. I'll probably be back next week. We're going to be moving in February, so I'll probably get a couple more episodes before we actually have to move, and then you'll see a whole new background behind the couch. I think it'll just be a wall next time. So, I will see you then, and I'll have more video game stuff to talk about. So, enjoy! Bye!